Hello, and
Hi.
welcome everyone to the Playwire Live on LinkedIn. Hopefully, everyone can hear us out there. I'm joined today by my esteemed colleagues. Why don't you introduce yourselves? Marisa, we're going to start with you.
Hi, I'm Marisa. I'm the VP of Sales here at Playwire for East Coast. I've been at Playwire for about 10 years now, so quite a long time here at Playwire.
And Anthony.
All right, Anthony Berrena calling from this beautiful phone booth at our office in Florida. Chief Revenue Officer, been with Playwire now 13 years. Little joke is no one else has wanted me for that time, but work with our publisher development team, our yield operations, and just across the company, helping partners make more money.
That's great. And how hot is it in Florida today?
Well, they're telling me it feels like 108, so I'm guessing that means 108. It's very hot.
All right, great. Well, we're here today to talk about how data and audience solutions help publishers navigate the ad ecosystem. I always like to start with a little data point. Jounce Media recently reported that sales houses experienced a 31% growth in the last 3 years in the number of publishers that they represent. That means that sales houses, and Anthony, I'm going to ask you to tell everyone what a sales house is in a minute, now account for 26% of all bid requests in the open web ecosystem. Two questions just to get us started, Anthony. What is a sales house, and even what is a bid request?
Yeah. So for Sales House in that same report, they were saying there's over 125, which is crazy to me. And they are a couple different ways. I mean, there's some that are just a tech layer. There's some that have whole operations like a direct sales house, yield operations, whatever it might be. And there's others that it's a small operation. They work off razor thin margins. But essentially what they're helping do is working with partners to monetize those bid requests. And a bid request is something coming from, in a simple term, from the website sent to the SSPs, the DSPs, be it video, display, or audio, or app as well.
Okay. They're saying we have a monetizable opportunity right now. Mm-hmm. Do you want to buy this ad right here?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, most of the growth of sales houses is at 126, and is Playwire broadly considered a sales house?
Yes. Yeah. So on the larger side with that, with what we have on there, yes.
Okay. Awesome. So most of the growth has been driven by what they call the mid-market. How would you define the mid-market?
I would say mid-market is really any publisher that's doing somewhere between $200,000 a year to about $20 million, which when you say 20 million, think mid-market. No, but there's so many publishers out there that are doing hundreds of millions of dollars that are on this enterprise level. So there's a huge market for these mid-market publishers. And a lot of times it's between maybe a company that has 5 or 7 people that are just creating content and they've worked on this a long time, or it could be a larger operation that has a couple direct sellers and people creating content, be it content creators, and it kind of goes across the swath of that.
Okay. So sales house can come in and help someone perceivably in the mid-market, which could be up to a $20 million, even bigger business, help simplify and streamline their monetization of the site, enabling them to really focus, the publisher to really focus on investing into product or marketing or people. Now, why would you say sales houses are growing? What are you seeing in the market that tells you that mid-market, or that is informing the need for mid-market publishers to work with sales houses like a Playwire?
It's getting harder and harder to do it by yourself. You can't just throw GAM on there and hope for the best. There's so many different things, like they're obviously pre-bid, open bidding, Amazon, TAM, UAM, all those pieces. And to actually do it proper takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it's costly. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to look at the risk reward. If you're handling it yourself, you either have to hire up and spend money that way and then hire experts for it and a tech team and a yield operations team, or dedicate a lot of your time for learning, and your costs are going to go up, or you can't focus on growing your audience, and that's what you do best. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are saying, I can grow my audience, I can get more viewers, that's what I do best. And these sales houses are good at monetizing, let them do what's best. Mm-hmm. And with the sales houses, they have those teams, that infrastructure to build out and be able to do it at a better clip than you are by yourself.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I mean, one of the trends I see in market, obviously leading direct sales for Playwire, is just the need for bigger, fewer, better. Just as complicated and complex and expensive as it's become for the publishers to manage the tech stack and the monetization, the agencies are really focused on working with fewer partners. And what that means is probably 10 to 15 premium partners up at the top of the stack, whether it's in news or sports, and then probably sales houses like a Playwire, right? It's just getting harder and harder for the mid-market to compete, just because it is so expensive. So Marisa, I don't know if you seem like you wanted to add in there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's interesting to see how the ecosystem has changed over the years, and I think it's really interesting to see, like, not to Playwire's own horn, but just to kind of be there for the publisher to kind of assist with, like you mentioned, the sales house, not only just being on the direct sales side of things, but just the yield operations, just making sure that you have that full ad stack of solutions. And I think that's the biggest thing, is being able to provide those solutions.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So the rise of the sales house and the aggregation, let's just say in the mid-market, are two massive trends that we're watching right now. Anthony, looking to the back half of the year, what other major trends are you looking at in the ad tech ecosystem? Like, what problems are on the horizon? What concerns do you have? And what are the opportunities that arise from those?
I would say one of the biggest things going on is that shift from mentality from years ago, where it was you can have as many ad requests and ad calls, and the theory was you make more money the more ad requests you send out. And that made sense. But I would say in the last 8 to 12 months, there's been this shift of saying, okay, there's so much noise in the market, and you hear the term QPS thrown around so much, where before, last year or 2 years ago, it was never mentioned before. It means queries per second. It means how much can an SSP, DSP listen to at one time. And it's forced a lot of people to take a look at their inventory and their ad requests and say, okay, I need to make this as efficiently as possible for the buyers, so that way they get a good ROI for it. I want to, let's just say, refresh and view, only show ads with engaged users, whatever it might be. So it's a better user experience as well. And so I think the big opportunity is you're creating a better ad experience, your better user experience. It's hopefully helping with the Google algorithms and everything else that's going on, the SEO results, and actually at the end of the day, pushing more traffic, generating more revenue with less ads.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense to me. I mean, I think what we saw, to your point, is 18 months ago, this massive kind of knee-jerk reaction to too many ads on the pages, killing user experience. And going away from that is not easy, right? You're obviously looking forward into the future, and you're saying this is clearly where the industry is going. But we had to, and a lot of publishers had to take a big risk, right? Because they were basically cutting what percentage, 40, 50% of the ads off the page, right? In their time, it was, hey, put twice as many ads, make twice as much money. And so we took that risk with our publishers. And can you just talk to me about what we did and what we've seen and what's informing this vision for the future that you have?
Yeah. So first, you have to, each website isn't created equal. So when we talk about sales houses, making sure you work with someone that takes the time to take a look at the site and create an ad layout that makes sense for you with that. So you have to take a look at the ad layout and see if it's best for viewability, for the user experience, and marrying all those different pieces for it. And so what we were able to do was look and see, okay, are there requests that maybe were 20% viewable or 30% viewable, whatever it is, and actually remove them from the page itself. And so from there, we're able to cut about 40 to 60% of ad requests, which, like you said, is a risk. But we're hoping that we're able to remove that from the page, and then we're paid off in higher CPMs because we're creating a scarcity of ads, better quality ads, ads that are more viewable, clickable, and better ROI for the advertisers. So within 2 to 4 weeks, you actually start, there's a dip at the beginning, and then you start to see it take off with that quality initiative that we took over, and you actually see the advertisers paying that premium for it.
Okay. So we cut the ads in half, and we effectively more than double what advertisers are willing to pay, because the quality of the advertising was much better. The performance was much better. At the same time, we've kind of created a virtuous cycle where the users are more engaged on the site, right? So they spend time on a site and they want to watch, they basically are probably generating not as many, but more ads because they're spending more time on the site. They're looking at more pages, they're watching more videos. So it seems like a win-win, but obviously a hard one to explain to people when you say, hey, listen, we might lose revenue for 2 to 4 weeks, but then it's going to rebound. And I think it was a great risk that everyone took. All right, so to switch a little bit, I mean, obviously these two things work well together, right? Which is, Anthony, your side of the business is programmatic, it's yield operations. It is how do we monetize 700 plus sites in an efficient and streamlined way. The other side of the business is direct sales that Marisa and I obviously work on. Direct sales, for those who don't know, is exactly what it sounds like. It is selling directly to agencies and brands. And first of all, to understand why that's a different thing and why, why it matters, the entire advertising ecosystem has really changed in the last 3 to 4 years. Every agency leader will tell you that if they can buy it programmatically, they want to buy it programmatically. They do that because it is incredibly efficient. And digital advertising, generally speaking, is somewhat inefficient. Efficient when you get it up and running. That said, they know a lot of times the things they really want, the things that are going to drive their business forward, are not available programmatically. They just don't scale into a programmatic ecosystem. So programmatic would be your standard banners all over the page. Working with the direct sales team, you're able to access custom solutions and high impact media not available. So you're basically saying, behind the velvet rope is the VIP experience. And if you want, you have to work with us and the bouncer to get in there. So that is direct sales. First question, Marisa, is for you. Yeah. We operate on a pretty massive scale here at Playwire across, I'd say, 5 content verticals: gaming, entertainment, education, mom, parenting, and real estate. And really focused on 3 or 4 key audiences: kids, Gen Z, young millennials, mom, I'd say. How do you, what are some of the nuances of pitching these different verticals and these different audiences that you've learned in your 12 years here?
Yeah. First of all, he's the bouncer. Paul is actually the bouncer for the rope. So if anyone needs anything, any VIP, it's him. But anyway, so honestly, it's really interesting to see because, again, we are the boots on the ground for all the different publishers and all the different verticals that we have. Just for example, within the kids audience, it's going to be completely different from, like you said, the moms or something more audience focused. That is just kind of looking towards brand safety as well as a kid safe environment. So that is just going to brands and agencies and kind of sharing how we're able to really connect the kids audience with these different brands. That is more focused on the brand side of things. I would say brand safety side of things. And then in terms of the other audiences, I know you had you had spoken about moms a bit too. Within the moms audience, moms are connecting with each other, right? They're utilizing each other as a support system or as a go-to of all right, we should be using this sort of diaper. This weekend, I actually I was with a bunch of friends and some of them are new moms and they're talking about different formulas and how they're bulk ordering formulas. And that goes with the same type of, audiences that we're working within. So it's interesting because I think it's, connecting these niche audiences, but also being able to really kind of articulate the passion points or how this formula is working for these mom sites. And then with the kids audience, you're focusing on more of the engagement and making sure that kids are be able to have that nag factor and recall the newest, Nerf line of blasters.
I think at the end of the day, when I think about our advertising base, they're looking for a few different things: innovation, differentiation, but ultimately it's relevance and authenticity, because they know that drives engagement.
Yep.
Right. So if we can deliver kids in a kid's environment when we're in how they're consuming content, whether that's on CTV, in-app, like Talking Tom, we can deliver moms when they're engaging with other moms, solving the formula conundrum, which I've solved. For anybody who's looking for that information, let me know.
And dad here right now.
No, but it's true. And it's one of, if you think about the web writ large, you've got massive platforms, you have massive special interest sites, news, sports, weather. But so much of the original promise of the web are these powerful niche communities, right? With people connecting with other people around a passion point. In our world, that could be gaming or entertainment, movies, education, parenting, real estate. So I think all very, very powerful and kind of what enables us to have credibility on Madison Avenue, in that we're not just representing 700 sites, we're representing 700 communities of people who trust each other. Trust is actually a word that I think we probably should use more often because it's something we've earned over 17 years. And I think something our publishers help us create. Now, that said, so you've got your programmatic ad stack that generates revenue every day of the week, every week of the year. You have direct sales. Anthony, why does it benefit publishers to have access to a direct sales team? People like myself and Marisa working directly with a big agency.
Yeah, so I would just go back to what you're saying though, trust. I think that's a huge piece of what's going on, where because of everything that was going on, this buy side doesn't trust the sell side and all those pieces, and you hear the nefarious actors going on. So if you can find someone or make your site, your whatever portfolio trustworthy, it goes so there's so much benefit to something like that. For the direct sales side, it's easy. Unique demand. This is something that differentiates it. It's not just open market. It's different. It's quality. It's probably the best creative that you can get. It's the most engaging to your audiences and users. And if you're able to get that gaming ad in front of a gamer and it looks so glamorous and everything else, then of course that's what works best. And also CPMs are going to be higher if you're doing it right. You shouldn't be paying open market for something like that. So you have higher CPMs, you have more engaged users with better creative. And there's other benefits as well if you're doing a data component to it, whatever it might be. So, but just the fact that it's unique, it makes everyone else in that ecosystem bidding have to bid that much harder to get that impression.
Mm-hmm. It's the high tide rises all boats, so to speak, with the direct demand. Yeah. And you're right. I've always had this belief that when advertising, gets over a tipping point of relevance, it actually ceases to become advertising and it becomes content. And obviously, the movie studios have done this for years with trailers that are just as exciting to watch as the movie sometimes. So, let's kind of switch a little bit in that, kind of building on this. What are brands looking for? What are advertisers looking for? Right? There's, I think I'll just get it kicked off, but I think at the end of the day, they want to reach real human beings that fit the profile of who they're looking to sell their product to, and they want to do it in a high quality way. That said, Marisa, let me throw it to you. What are brands looking for in 2024?
I hear it across the board is just like that authentic voice, right? Just being able to really hit that audience. I think right now a lot of partners are looking to reach that Gen Z audience. And how do I reach this Gen Z audience in an authentic way within gaming, entertainment, just the opportunity to not just be an advertisement, like you kind of mentioned. I think there's this connection of being an advertisement, but also being able to connect with the content. Like today I've been preaching it to everyone, but I saw Furiosa. And so I've spent, a lot of time on one of our publishers going through different reviews. And that's how you're authentically reaching me as like a moviegoer, cinephile. I'm going to be going through looking at these reviews. And I think in terms of each different, audience segment, I think that's the biggest thing is just connecting, having that information and being relevant. So, and then one last piece of that is just innovation, right? Like the market has changed. Anthony, you said the market had changed, the last like 8 months or so. The market has changed over the last decade about the way that consumption habits are. So I think it's also being able to be first to market or being able to be just someone to help let them know about what trends we're seeing. I think that's also something that's pretty big in terms of being, a really great partner.
Mm-hmm. I have another one. They want to be creative. Right. Programmatic media is obviously something that is incredibly efficient, that drives, bottom line business results. People want to be creative. They want to partner with brands and publishers that they see themselves in. Right. So in our world, that could be a Letterboxd or a Crunchyroll or a Game Banana or Delta's Gaming. We've got a lot of these incredible sites that really speak, I'd say, for a lot of people that we work with. SparkNotes. When we go around a room and say, who knows SparkNotes, and every hand goes up and everyone's got a story about how they made it through college because of SparkNotes. So I do think, people want to be creative. They want to engage with creators, the content creators, the people building these sites. And I think when I think of the value that we add into this ecosystem, it's not only are we connecting buyers and sellers with high performance media, but we're advocating on behalf of the Playwire network, specific ecosystems like entertainment, and then even deeper specific sites, right? We're carrying their message forward. We're building their profile, which is going to have long-term positive impacts to the business as the street and the market start to know these brands. And we've been very, very blessed and fortunate to work with, I think, some of the best and even more coming in. So what else? Anything else that you think brands are looking for? Anthony, what are publishers looking for in your world, right? So you work with some of the the biggest, best publishers on the planet, Redfin. What are they looking for more and more from a sales house like Playwire?
I would say a couple different things, but one, how can we generate them more revenue? At the end of the day, that's first part of it, but creating efficiencies as well. So for those, especially larger companies, being able, how can we run this business more efficiently and be able to give a quality experience for our users so that way they do come back for it. And what they like about the direct sales component is these are good ads. They know what's coming through. It's quite, either in-house that someone created it, or they know that it's going to be of that higher quality as opposed to programmatic, which sometimes things can slip through with it. So they're looking for that piece of it. And again, when it's interesting and they can do a look when there's data included along with that media buy of it, that's really interesting for them.
Mm-hmm. Fully accretive to the bottom line. What if I were a publisher right now and I was talking to different sales houses? What are like the 2 or 3 questions I should ask to help me qualify, find the right partner for me and my specific needs?
I think first you have to just know yourself before asking those questions. Like, okay, are you in that mid-market where you're pushing 7 figures a year? Are you a blog? And that, because there are over 120 sales houses, so there's certain ones that probably fit your need better. If you're, again, on that smaller side, maybe it's someone that works with 10,000 publishers, whatever it is, and it's just quick and easy and it's templated and you're just another number. That's fine. That may work good for you. But if I am going to ask questions, it's what's the size of the company? Where does that footprint stand? Is it a 10-person company versus 100 people on there? And what are they doing that is truly unique? At this point, everyone's doing header bidding, and some people do it better here, some do better maybe over here, but what are they doing when it comes to data? What are they doing when it comes to direct? When it comes to this quality initiative that the industry is doing, how are they viewing it? What have they done? Where are the case studies to kind of show it? So asking those types of questions, and even simple things like looking on LinkedIn. A lot of people can tout direct sales teams, but then you go on and it's 3 people. It's a much different story. Mm-hmm. So more than
Oh no, we lost Anthony.
Oh, there he is.
You got it back. All right.
Yeah.
But it was just the last, and you made your point eloquently and beautifully. Thank you. So no, I agree. I mean, I think ultimately, every publisher needs to find the right match for them. Mm-hmm. And I think we're lucky to have competitors and colleagues and partners who all do different things well. And I think to your point, just understanding what you're looking for in your journey as a publisher. Are you looking for flexibility? Are you looking for access to the big brand advertisers and potentially to help tell your story? And everyone's got a bit of a different mix there. So, I mean, we're kind of coming to the end here, but I think, in conclusion, sales houses are becoming more important and influential in market. Quality, performance, and transparency are only going to be bigger trends in the world going forward, which only benefits everyone. It benefits the audience, it benefits the advertisers, it benefits the publishers. I'm quite happy that Playwire was a leader in really focusing on reducing the ad calls and bid requests, and I think the industry's going in the right directions. And then direct sales offers high margin incremental revenue with great relevant brands that run against your site, enabling you to generate more with the same or way more with more, and just ultimately enabling you to invest in your business. I think that's the most important thing to me that Playwire does. Is we are a publisher first company, and we're a company who actually is truly committed to helping publishers thrive and grow. And when we do that well, we kind of create the flywheel for an industry that I think matters and connects with a lot of people. So let me just throw it back to the two of you. Any parting thoughts, any insight, wisdom for the masses?
The last little bit is kind of just connecting the ecosystem, right? We work with brands, we work with agencies, and we have the ability to communicate back to these publishers what the needs are. And I think that's really important that it goes both ways. We're able to provide the recommendations, but we can also kind of share what the market feedback is. And I think that's really important and holistic in terms of like a sales house.
Great.
Better said than I could on that, but I will add, again, just the word of it, of this quarter of this year is that idea of trust. Find a partner you can trust that is doing right by you, and not only thinking now, but long term. Yes, the cookie, is still here, but what does it look like in 18 months from now? Have you already started that process? It happens so quick, And are you taking those initiatives to make your inventory better quality and that better ROI and all those pieces? Looking at the hood, just to get in the weeds, but how do your signals look? When you send that out into the ecosystem. So just asking questions more and more, especially as Q3 and Q4 right around the corner.
Exactly. And revenue will spike. All right. Thank you both very much. This has been a great 25, 26 minutes. Hopefully the audience out there has enjoyed as well. Tons of great resources on playwire.com. If any of these terms were new to you, audience, please go to playwire.com. We've got some great articles on this stuff. So, well, thank you very much, Anthony, and thank you very much, Marisa, and let's keep up the good work and support our publishers.
Awesome. Bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Cheers.